Hi everybody, as promised, I'm doing my middle of the month garden tour, but it's going to be really fast. These are sandbags that Gary went and got. They've been giving them away because we may need them. And then of course, here is the front garden. We're in California, Southern California, 10A, and we have been having rain all week, and we're getting more rain. They said it won't stop for another 4 or 5 days, so we'll see how things go. So I don't have to water my garden. I'm also not really working that much in the garden, but I have been doing a little bit of cleaning and trying to figure out how I want to set things up. So as far as what's going on in the front yard, everything is the same. I did end up moving my fig tree here, which I think I showed you a couple weeks ago. Listen to the birds singing. I have seen woodpeckers this morning and all kinds of birds. It's just so cool. I've got a tomato on this, but I didn't even know. Look at the tomatoes on here. There's another one back there. And that has been trying to grow squash, but it's just been too cold. It grows little ones, and I can pull off the little ones and put them in our food. Otherwise, all in all, still the same. We have been really cold. When we get the rain, the opposite happens for us. So now at night, we're in the upper 40s or lower 50s because the cloud cover will keep us here in Southern California warmer. And I am starting to get rained on. So I am going to go through this quick because I figured I have a window. They said that there's no rain right now. So I figured I'm going to grab the camera, say hello to everybody. This will all be cleaned up. These are my compost in place tubs. And what I plan on doing on here is cleaning this up real soon, and then adding more kitchen scraps and leaves, building the soil back up, and getting more things planted. The tomatoes did great in here. The basil did great. So I'll figure out what I want to plant here. Here's my peppermint, and that's doing really good. And then I had the fig tree in here, and that's the one I moved. Let's see if you can see it over there. It's starting to lose its leaves. That's just a cutting I did, and I kind of stuffed it in there, and it grew roots. So now I have a fig tree, for now, in a pot. Listen to all the birds. All right, this is my ginger table, turmeric table, and of course my stevia. Nothing is in these pots right now. I just did a full harvest, and I shared that with you the other day. Now I'm getting ready. So after the rainy season goes through and is done, then I will go ahead and it starts to warm up. I'll start putting more ginger and turmeric in here. My stevia will all come back. Plus there's been a lot of seeds and I have been throwing them in here. So they'll probably come up everywhere, but they'll come back from the roots. See under here how green that is? They'll die back all winter, but then they'll come back. Yes, that's actually still in the original pot I got it in, but they set roots into this pot and it grows into big, beautiful plants. So I'm gonna have more stevia here, and I wanna grow more stevia too. All right, let's go in the main garden. Okay, now you're in my main garden, right off where I always do it, off the back of the house here. And you could see all the birds. What Gary's been doing when it starts to pour is he's been putting the bowls, and they know it, look, they're going on the table. He's been putting the bowls of food for the birds underneath the umbrella so they can sit, eat, and enjoy themselves out of the rain. I just moved it and put it there now because it's not raining, but it is just starting. And I want to make sure they have food. Remember, they're my workers, and these seed eaters bring in my insect eaters. So they all work hand in hand. If I didn't have the seed eaters here, the insect eaters wouldn't know it was safe. So it's important to me to have everybody. And look at that. He's going to drink some water out of my bucket. Oh, he just jumped down on the bottom. Of course, none of my solar buckets, my fountains are going right now. Look at this. I've got to share that with you. Yeah, they're eating off the table because Gary's been putting food up there. And they know, well, we don't want to be in the rain. I don't need to go over everything right now because, you know, you've seen it and it's wet. I just wanted to make sure you know I'm alive and well, and we plan on getting a lot of videos up this year. Gary is working on projects that you've never seen before that he's putting up, and we'll get our chickens up and we'll show all the different ideas we come up with. And of course, things to make your life easier and to do things where it's not going to cost you that much at all. This is my dinosaur kale, and boy, do they like the cooler, wet weather. I do have to clean it up. This is struggling, and the reason it's struggling is, see, it's been breaking. So I'm going to have to stake up what I can or take cuttings off of it, and because it really is struggling. The leaves aren't getting too big on this one, but as soon as you get to better parts where it wasn't broke, see how big the leaves are? I can even share with you this. See how big? This is a cutting. Look how beautiful this is. And this is simply a cutting. I put tulle around it so the rabbits won't get it. That's a cutting off of the big mother plant over there. So it's so easy just to take a little piece. That's all you have to do is take something like this, snap it off right here, clean off some of the top leaves, leave a few, and stick it in a pot and it will root. And then you have a cutting off your favorite plant. All right, so we got celery down there that's still struggling. I don't know if it'll make it back for the spring, and then a collard, and then of course tomatoes, which we still have plenty of tomatoes all over the yard. These are the brown berries in there, so I think I have 2 types in there. And it's doing really good. Look at all the tomatoes. So we've had tomatoes so far all fall and all winter. And then this is the upside down planters that I'm going to redo. Now keep in mind, I'm not watering. But you have to be mindful of where you're keeping your pots. And see on the top here, that's an eave. Even though it's raining, these don't get watered. So what I do is we have a lot of buckets. We've been collecting rain. I just come out here. I dip my little watering can in there, and then I just water. Because you have to remember, though it's raining, they're not getting really water. They're staying damp, but they're not getting the water. What I like is when I, collect water in these flower pots, I went looking for a small watering can because, look how nice that is. That's it. It's full of water now. See how easy that was? It fits in there. It works for me. And then I can just water and just dip it in there. Because I had other flower pots, watering pots, and they just didn't fit. And I found those at the dollar store, and they fit perfect. So I can collect the water as it rains, and then I just use my watering can to water my little one. Mushroom plant, everything here is still doing good. Looks a little bit, I think it likes the warmer weather, but it's still hanging in there. This is just a kale, or a red Russian kale. So everything is in there. There's still celery and things growing in there. Again, and lemon verbena, it's still hanging in there. And it's got a lot of green growth too. So it's still doing okay, even in this cool weather. And let's see, the popolo, most of the seeds have blown off, plus I have collected a lot. My basil and papaya tree there, or plant, they're a little cold, but they're okay. Let's see, we've got a lot of greens. We've had greens. I make the green drinks. I use it in our eggs. I use it in soups and stews and anything I want to make. So we have plenty of greens, which is great. This is, of course, that purple. Look how purple, it is purple inside there. I don't know if you can see that. This is the purple sprouting broccoli that has yet to throw any broccoli, but I'll tell you, the leaves are really nutritious and good, so I'm really happy with that. And then, of course, my tomatoes, which are just getting bigger and taller, and they're growing in that little pot down there, but they have set roots, so they have just left the pot. I still like pots. A lot of people don't. I do, because when I water, I know for sure that plant's getting watered, because all I have to do is water the pot, and it goes directly to the roots. It's not going anywhere. Okay, my sprouting broccoli is doing great. I've been getting broccoli every day off of this. And then it's all pretty much picked. I've let a little bit go to flower and seed for the birds. Like I said, I haven't done anything in here. Here's the bowl that we put out for the birds, but Gary moves the bowl onto the table during the day. Water fountains we're not turning on today because it's raining. It's raining on me as I'm doing this. Right now it's a light rain. Everything here is still doing good. We still have the sprouting broccoli in here. This one came up from seed, and it's doing good. There's that. What's that called? That's a blue, I think it's a dazzling blue kale. I did a video on this where I dug a hole, and I dug a hole over there, buried a bunch of table scraps and leaves and stuff, covered it a little bit, planted the plant there, and look how beautiful. It's a tree. And I better get this staked up better or it's going to fall over. I've got one in there. Let's see, over here. I've got my pepinos that are just starting. They're flowering. And then just little things. Like I said, right now there's nothing new. I haven't really done a lot. And there's that curry plant, more collard. It's just been wet. We've been rainy and cold. We've been really cold. But right now, like I said, with the cloud cover all week, we've actually warmed up. Again, under the house, I have to remember, though it looks like it should be getting rained on, it is not. Well, there's my lemon balm I bought, which is set root in here, so I'm going to have to figure out later where I want to put it. I bought it, I think Christmas, or before Christmas, maybe Thanksgiving. So I stuck it here just to get it outside, and now it's set root. So I'll move it in the spring. Let's see, everything is still growing good there. Sweet potato, I didn't plant it, came up in my, scraps. Okay, parsley. How beautiful this is. This is flat leaf parsley. It planted itself, and it's doing really, really good. Very happy. Been trimming back some of the spearmint here because I want it to go further back. I don't want to be tripping on it, and I want to be able to get through things. And that's the other thing I've been doing is clearing paths. See, I can get back here now, and I can actually walk back here. Oh, maybe not with this monster here, but I can still get back here. And I lost a lot of that this past spring because it all overgrew. Of course, watch, spring will come and it will all overgrow again. But I'm going to try to make a little bit more paths. There is a tree collard. That one leaned kind of funny. I didn't really stake it up in time. Look at the leaves. Look at the leaves on this thing. Massive, and they taste good. They're sweeter than regular collard, and I really like that. And then, of course, this is my collard field. Look how big this is. A whole field of collard. And, we started eating more collard. I found that collard is better if it's slightly steamed. It's got more nutrients for the human body when you steam it a little bit, literally under 2 minutes. Don't go over 2 minutes. And it's so simple. I just cut a bunch of leaves that look nice, throw it in a pot with about half an inch to an inch of water, boil it up, 2 minutes, take it out, drain it. And we've been using it for wraps. I've wrapped chicken in it. You can wrap anything in it, and it tastes really good. If you go over, then you've lost the color, and it's just so bright and green when you steam it like that. And it literally is so fast, and Gary loves it. So I think we're going to actually plant more collard, believe it or not. Eggplant looks a little sparse, not real big on the cold weather right now. But see, it's got flowers. I had a few eggplant, and the rabbits grabbed it because it was too close to the ground. Look at the other tree collard. Look how big that thing is, 6 feet tall. And look at the size of the leaves. Is that amazing? And then here's the purple, some sort of curly purple kale. That is just beautiful. That is actually too tall. Technically, I should take this out, maybe do some cuttings and plant them. I'll decide in the spring what I want to do. Right now, I'm not doing much. I've been trying to figure out how to make an easy cover for these. And that's what we're trying to come up with, more videos on things that people could do to help their garden and do it on the cheap. That's actually work. 3 little posts and just it holds it, but I've also made it where I've drilled a hole and made a little hinge on it. So I'm kind of deciding how to do it. It's only for plants to get started, so I don't have birds or anything bother it in there. I think I have beans coming up right now. So we've got a lot of videos like that. Gary's got a fantastic one coming up anytime now. Look at this tree collard. This thing is at least 7 feet tall. Look at the leaves. Another interesting plant. You only need 1 leaf, and you cut out the core in the center, the big stem, and steam it for 2 minutes, and it tastes so good. Again, I think tree collards are a little sweeter. That is something you really don't want to grow from seed. I heard it's much better by doing it by cuttings, and that's what I've got going now is cuttings. On the bottom here is the big collard field, and the rabbit's been getting in here. This is regular collard, and they've been eating all the low leaves, and I've actually been trimming off a lot of the leaves from the top, like let's say this one's broke. So what I've been doing is snapping the broken one and then just dropping it on the ground for the rabbits because they like collard, and that's fine with me. I'm not going to eat it anyways. all of it. And here's another one. And just snap it, leave it in a pile. And they've been coming at night. You can see they've been eating it. So that's really good. This is the tower I made, and there were 3 in there. And I'm going to make more towers, and I'll get some more videos up because this tower worked beautifully. You've got the tub on the bottom and another tub in the middle. You can plant all the way around it. And then I had another pot in the very middle of the top tub where I could compost in there. I could throw my kitchen scraps and the worms would gravitate in there, and it would be feeding the whole unit. And plus, obviously, it's feeding the collard plant too, because look what this collard did. Look at the trunk on that. It's got all the little offshoots. Another plant that could be propagated by cuttings. So whatever way I want to do it, but this has worked out so well. I think I'm going to put a few up against the wall. And let me step around here. I want to keep this short because it's, like I said, it's starting to rain. And then more leaves I threw down. Here is the papaya that came up. I guess this plant is about 1.5 years old. I still haven't gotten the small ones out. I got one out. Let's see, it's throwing side shoots, but look at the papayas. Isn't that amazing? We believe this is strawberry papaya. See, the shape is different. Let me see if I can get you around here. See the shape? They're like a bottle. Little bit different shape than the other papayas. So that will be fun when we get some ripe ones. Let's see. Over here, I'm trying to pan you slowly. Trimming up. I've got a lot of trimming and cleaning to do. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's just take this right now. Something climbed up, which means it probably was a squirrel. I've got squirrels there. I'm going to throw the yellow one on the bottom and let them eat it because they've already started to eat it. I put it aside. It had that tinny smell, so I knew I wasn't going to cook it. And I moved it and they got to it. So they can have it. That's fine with me. That pot needs better drainage. I'm probably going to pull it out anyways. It caked up. I can see this from the rain. That is garlic chives. I've got garlic chives everywhere. It will come up on the ground. It'll come up in other pots. It will come up everywhere. That's like almost my second favorite plant. I really love the Egyptian walking onions. The walking onions, see, they're in the bricks down there. They are just so easy to propagate, and they taste so good in everything. You can use the walking onions just like you would use any other onion. And I just love them. So anyways, I'm prepping all this. Here's my moringa tree. Lost almost all its leaves. And let me tell you, we've got a super video coming up on how to pick these pods. It should be coming up any time now. Gary's putting something together. This is the miracle tree. I've been doing research on this that's unbelievable. There's been so much research, even government research, that the leaves, I know people eat the seeds and the different parts of the tree. I prefer just the leaves, but this tree's got more nutrients than almost any other plant. And I've been adding it to, see, it's got leaves up there. I've been adding it to everything, and I'm going to concentrate on growing more. And let me tell you, I've got one growing in the house, and I think you can grow this as a house plant. They talk about tap roots on the moringa. That may not be completely true. I'm not saying it's not, but it may not be completely true because they're finding in areas that the trees that are not sending out super tap roots, they're just sending out regular roots. The whole idea of this plant, and that's why they call it the miracle plant, is it pulls the nutrients up and it stores it in its leaves and it pulls water up. And with the water, so much water in it, it just stores all the nutrients. So I'm starting to think you can grow this as a house plant. Plant a couple seeds, put it in the window, and I can even show you how I've got one growing for 2 months in my house, and it's beautiful, full of leaves. And I'm planning on putting it out, but I might actually keep one for a while in the house. So we'll do that, another video on that at another time, because I'm still doing a lot of research. I'm going to say that I am flabbergasted with this. From what I've read, it could help your cholesterol. It can help with diabetes or people that are, that are storing a lot of sugar in their blood, that it helps to neutralize that. I don't know how much of that is true, but it's just amazing. I know that it has helped me a lot as far as my eyesight. Another video for another time. Okay, still need to redo and freshen up this tower. Let me swing over here real quick. This is the other moringa. This is the one that got chewed, I guess, 1.5 years ago to the ground. Literally to the ground. And I thought it was a goner and it came back up. That's why there's no growth from the side. It was chewed by the rabbits to the ground when it was little and it came back up. Another container I'm going to be fixing up, and let's turn around. Okay, again, the papayas are doing great. They've still been flowering and throwing papayas. So we're going to have lots of papayas and more papayas there. And don't need to get on the history of that today. Like I said, it's raining. I'm getting wet. And it's just a light rain, but still getting wet. And they're doing really good. And I plan on doing a whole lot more papayas through here. That's my goal. I've got one I planted there, and I'd like to get more all through here. And keep this just papaya plants. Well, before I go to the other side, I just wanted to share with you how beautiful, look at that, how beautiful the rosemary is flowering. Beautiful purple flowers. And I rarely use rosemary. I don't know, people use it on chicken. I'm not crazy about it, but I do like the plant. And it's there if I need it. Okay, now let's go to the other side. Okay, as you can see, Gary's got this cut out where the water goes underground, and he's got like swales, I think you call it, and he's directing them in different ways. It's kind of stagnant right here for now because, like I said, it's been pouring, just pouring day and night. But this is really good, and he's going to direct it further, he said, make a pass so the water will go all the way to the truck bed so I can get more trees there. And that's my plan. You know what? Let's go to the truck bed. Let's do that first. The wood chips love the rain. You've got microbes and everything. I had dug into the ground and seen, it looks like white spider webs. That just shows that everything is going right. That's the way it's supposed to work. And I've actually been using some of that to pot up some plants by digging into the wood chips. Okay, now we're at the truck bed. Going to do some changes in here. I've got a lot of thoughts of what I'm going to do. Look how beautiful and red this is. So I've got 3 different types of Swiss chard growing in here along with sow thistle, which I use that too. But you've got the red ones, then you've got the ones that are kind of red and green. And of course the green ones, the solid green, which is Gary's favorite, very spinach-like without the real bite. And then of course garlic chives are growing all through here, and some walking onions are in here too. But look at the contrast. Look at the different colors. Isn't that beautiful? And the avocado tree. I know there's going to be people upset, but I am thinking of moving it because most of the avocados that do grow from seed are not really good, and it's pulling a lot of nutrients out of the bed. And though I dump a lot of kitchen scraps and leaves and stuff in here, I have ideas of what I want to do here. So I'm going to see. But look at this. Aren't these beautiful? Oh, and look at that. Gary's got wood chips, and look at that. I want to share that bird with you. That was a little insect eater. They're flycatchers, and they love the wood chips. They hang around looking for insects and different things, and there's also other birds in there too. But anyways, that is the truck bed. It is doing good with Swiss chard, and I have other ideas. And then, of course, I've covered these in case I wanted them for some reason. Let's say I want them to go to seed, or I don't know. They're huge, and I'm going to do something different. I really want to do something different in this area. So we'll see. I like to change things up. Now let's walk over to the last part over here at the wall. Oh, it's so wet. Oh, look. That's the Moringa tree that little guy is eating things off of, and that is just amazing. I'm planning on doing, I hope I have the time to get this all done, but I want to put containers along here. Instead of having him put wood and raised beds, I want to make my containers tall, 2 to 3, stack high. That will keep the rabbits off too by putting, stacking them, so at least they can't get to the higher ones. And the wall is warm enough that possibly as winter comes in next year, it will continue to grow. But this wall has just been great. Look at the eggplant. It is full of eggplant in here. And we've had eggplant from here all fall and all winter. And then, of course, there's some Swiss chard down there, came up on its own. So I'm going to change things around. There's some beans trying to grow in there. Celery is still growing, and this is an old, whoa. Okay, that's an old cucumber plant that's still trying to make a comeback. Look at that. No, that's a bean. I'm wrong. That's a bean. Okay, I thought it was the cucumber plant. So I've got a bean that's coming up, and it's throwing beans. That's the cucumber plant. So that one is not making a comeback. So I will get that out later. But there is celery and celery. Of course, look at the pods on the moringa. Is that amazing? Oh gosh, I'm getting wet. And the flowers, this one is still flowering. Look at the flowers. It brings so many different birds, this plant. And the leaves are amazing. Now, this particular tree has smaller leaves. See how small the leaves are? Some of them have bigger leaves. This tree struggled. I planted it, I think, at the end. Let's see, I planted at the wrong time and it struggled. It looked like it was going to die. And then it came back. So now it's doing really, really well. So we'll see. It's probably a year and a half, a little over a year and a half old, this one. But all in all, it's doing good. And this is the other thing. My plans, unless I change it, is to put tubs all along there, and in between my container gardening, I'm going to plant moringas because I'm going to make powder out of it. I want to use that as much as I can because I want to see how good this stuff really is. I know it's making me feel good, so we'll see, but that is just amazing. And it needs a warmer area. That's why I'm thinking it can make a fairly good house plant. They don't like it when it gets down into the low 40s and 30s. They can lose all their leaves and they can lose everything, but a lot of them do come back. You can also break it off, do cuttings on a moringa, and you're supposed to be able to grow it like a fig tree. So we'll see. I don't want to do this on moringa. I want to keep this short. Full of tomatoes. We have got tomatoes. Notice how the tomato plant is hugging the wall. Literally, it's growing out of the pots down here, and it's literally coming along, and it's hugging the wall, and it's going onto the wire and going up on the tree because the wall is warm. Even at night, you can touch the wall, and if there's been any sunlight, those blocks hold the heat. So it has been amazing. And that's why I want to get more plants planted here. Plus, Gary put a hose in down there, so I have a water, hose bib down there. So I can now water easily instead of dragging a 200-300 foot hose, which can get quite heavy. And then again, here's another container that I set up, and nothing's in it right now. I'm starting to throw in a little bit of scrap paper and leaves from the garden, things like, let's say I wasn't going to use this leaf. That's all. Just drop it in. Clean up your garden and fill it up. Mix it between dry and green if you can. That's the best way. And then just plant in it in the spring. And I'm working on this too. This is the bathtub that Gary found. Somebody gave it to him. And I'm planning on growing in here, probably squash in here. So that's it for today. Like I said, my camera's getting wet. I'm getting wet. I have a kind of a heavy drizzle going on right now, but they said any minute we're going to get a real downpour, and I wanted to just do a quick run through here. So with that, I want to wish everybody a wonderful day. Plan on doing a whole lot more videos. It's just that we're not doing a whole lot in this weather, but we will. We will. And I guess that's it. So everybody have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. If you want, like and subscribe. That would be nice. And with that, don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye.